So before this video actually begins, I just want to say that this video will include spoilers up to 7.1.5 and may also include spoilers from 7.2, 7.3, and 8.0, depending on how much I'm right. So yes, this video is about me guessing the next expansion. During Warlords of Draenor, around the time of Blackrock Foundry, I guessed some of Legion. I guessed that Gul'dan would be coming to our Tome of Sargeras. I guessed a lot of things that were wrong, but I guessed it before Hellfire Citadel even came out or before any of the cinematics were released. I wanted to do the same now, ahead of time, so that way there's not a lot of the story given. That way I can make a best guess of where I think the story will go, which means that this can go completely wrong, or it can go right. It all depends on which way Blizzard wants to take the game, but this is the direction I think World of Warcraft will go into. Now let's look at where we are right now in the story. We are at the point right now where we just killed Gul'dan on top of the Nighthold, and it gave us this sweet cinematic.
You have seen what I have seen. You know what we face. Now, mortals, follow me into the abyss.
So before I go any further, I want to say, for Varian, you son of a bitch, it is good to see you dead again. Hopefully this time, Gul'dan will stay dead. I'm sick of dealing with Gul'dan. He was a pain in the ass in Warcraft. Didn't like him then. Didn't like him in the movie, and I don't like him now. But it's a good thing. He's a really good bad guy. I love hating him. So what happens next? Well, in 7.2, it has been confirmed that we will go into the Tome of Sargeras to defeat the monstrosities in there, and we're going to fight some Naga. The Naga will be in there, and they will be unsuccessful in their attempt at stealing the 5 Pillars of Creation to free N'Zoth from his prison. That's why I believe the Naga are there. Blizzard said that they were there, but it'd be spoilers as to find out as to why. I'm pretty sure that they're setting up for this expansion. I'm pretty sure this is the direction they're going to take, so let's keep going with this theory. Now, let's say we kill the Avatar of Sargeras. Let's say we stop them for good at attacking Azeroth, but we need to kind of go to Argus to stop them. Now, we know that we have the Sargerite Keystone, which will open portals to Argus. I think our new allies in the Army of Light will meet us there under the command of Exarch Turelian. Maybe we'll actually see him. It's been a long time. I believe that Khadgar, Illidan, will venture with us, and somebody else will venture with us, but well, let's just say she's not going to be there with us. Now, it's one of the long-standing jokes that Jaina has been a Dreadlord. But what if she is? What if she has been corrupted? Or what if she has been replaced by a member of the Burning Legion? Who? Well, what about Mal'Ganis? He hasn't been around since Wrath of the Lich King. And he said that he would go back and he would be the one to bring down the Lich King. He said he would return to his home world. I believe he went back to his home world. Anyway, he hasn't been around, but the Burning Legion's here, so he might have been summoned. Now, it's a little bit of a stretch, because Jaina, she hates the Horde. She hates them with good reason. But maybe they kind of swapped her out and tried to make it realistic so they could have each other, so they could have the Horde and the Alliance at each other's throats. Now, regardless if Jaina Proudmoore will be the last boss in Legion, it is possible that Alleria is around somewhere. They mentioned Turelian's the new Exarch, and Alleria could be with them, or she could be in trouble, or she could be part of the Burning Legion. Unlikely, but it is still possible. I want to make that a note. I think that the last boss on Argus will be Mal'Ganis, or he will at least be part of the raid. Now, what if the last boss isn't a last boss? What if the last boss is something else? What if it's the last boss against us, against the Burning Legion? Maybe some sort of echo, maybe some sort of leader that we haven't seen that betrayed us. It's always possible. So how does the story on Argus end? I don't want to focus too much on the last boss because I've been wrong every step of the way. You know, every guess that I made, they have been bosses in Legion, but not the last boss. So let's just say that we fight against something, but a portal is opened on Argus, and through that portal we see the eyes of the fallen Titan himself, Sargeras, and he is coming for us. There's only one way to stop him, and that is for somebody to go through the portal, channel the energy of our weapon, and close it from the other side. I believe Khadgar will be the one to do this, to sacrifice himself one final time for the heroes of Azeroth. After all we have done for him, it is about time for him to return the favor to us. I believe Khadgar will die on the other side of the portal in an epic cinematic where he will strike a blow against the Titan himself, just as Broxigard did all of those years ago to close a portal for us. After all, Blizzard's entirety of Legion has been a shout-out to the Burning Crusade and to Warcraft 3. But what happens after that? I believe that during this assault that the Naga would have stolen the Tidestone for the releasing of N'Zoth. I believe that a couple years will pass, maybe, if we're lucky, and we will live in relative peace on Azeroth. The Gilneans will push back into Gilneas to fight the Forsaken on a full force, but we will not be joining them. We are now the armies of Legionfall, part of the armies of Light as well. It is not our duty, but is the mercenaries within the Horde and the Alliance that'll fight each other. That'll lead into a more PvP progression. I'll talk about that in a minute. So while the Horde and the Alliance are at each other's throats again, the heroes of Azeroth, us, well at least the ones that choose not to be mercenaries, we have a different calling. Azerothian contacts Magni and says something is not right. That he is breaking free. After all, Zal'Tarok has given us many warnings all throughout Legion that N'Zoth is breaking free. If you haven't watched my N'Zoth video, I highly recommend you go watch that. I talked about all the stuff that she talked about. I will put that video in the description below. Hate to toot my own horn, but unfortunately, you know, it's the only video I know of that talked about it. So we will have to go into the depths of Azeroth to reseal N'Zoth before he can bring upon the Twilight Empire. And I think that's what the name of the expansion is going to be, the Twilight Empire. After all, they gave the nod to the Black Empire that was so long ago that N'Zoth wants to reform that, and he was also seen as the weakest of the old gods. But even Zal'Tarok said that it's kind of ironic how the weakest of them may be the one to succeed, because he has done more to manipulate events throughout Azeroth. You know, he manipulated, again, building the wall. You know, House Prestor was Deathwing, influenced by N'Zoth to do so. He influenced the Naga to do all that they have done. And anyway, we venture deep into the heart of Azeroth, into new leveling zones that are going to look really cool. I'm talking about purple marshes. Maybe a deep home-like zone. Maybe an underwater zone as well. Maybe not so much underwater, with underwater elements to it. Maybe they'll only do half and half. But this opens up to new lore we have never seen. I think that there could be a new race that'll help us that looks sort of like old gods. But maybe the Titans have given them a gift of a fake sun in a zone. So maybe you'll go and you'll see a fake zone with like all this, sort of like in Ulduar, how you went to fight Freya and there was that artificial place. It could be something like that. Maybe they were removed from the old god script and tasked by the Titans to ensure that he stays sealed. Unfortunately, with the Naga keep breeding, and the old ones keep being released, the old ones' minions I should say, keep being released, they got overwhelmed. And they got pushed back into a part of their zone, but the armies of Legionfall are on our way. They have the reinforcements so they can reseal the prisons to recontain N'Zoth before he breaks out on an all-scale war of Azeroth. I think that the zones will each have a purpose, similar to Legion, how we will be able to go throughout the zones, that we will be able to go throughout the zones and grab the Pillar of Creation in the Twilight Empire. We will have to go and reseal the prisons. After all, I believe there were 5 of them. I believe that also that we will be able to venture to level 120 I don't think Blizzard's gonna do a whole hard reset. I thought that a while ago it would be nice to not level from 100 to 110, that instead to start us at level 1 and make us elites, and then that we can go on a quest line to make ourselves a silver elite. Unfortunately, that's probably never going to happen. I think that the whole progressional leveling system that they're doing gives that feel of progression, and there's no reason they should change it. As rough as it is to say, we're going to 120 again, it's just MMOs, and it's going to be there for a long time. I think that there will be a new playable race in this. Yes, that's right, a new playable race, a new neutral race. Because after all, Blizzard's pushing for this, but hopefully they won't make the same mistake they did with Pandaren. And well, I don't have anything against Pandaren. I don't personally play them. I see the appeal for them, and I'm glad they're there. With that being said, I'm not a Pandaren player myself. I think we're going to get something that looks similar to this guy. I think that'd be really cool. I think a neutral race should have a unique feel to them, something we've never seen really before. I was thinking Pandaren, it makes sense for them to be completely neutral, that it didn't appeal to a broader audience. This guy might not either, but I still think it'd be really cool to see something like this playable in game. That's my personal hope. Do I believe that would be the playable race? No, that's more me hoping that he will be the next, or that he or she, I guess they'd have female models, that they could be the next playable race. I go a little crazy with these theories, of course. I want to be wrong about some things, but I also love to just expand my mind and just see where I can take this. I think Queen Ajara will be in 8.2. She will be the final boss in the raid, and that N'Zoth will be the final boss in 8.3, which then could lead us into a different expansion altogether. I believe that Wrathion will make a significant appearance in the Twilight Empire, that he is finally back and that Blizzard is finally ready to throw him into the story. Now, why was Wrathion not present in Legion? Because he focused his attention towards his father, to the old god that corrupted him and his entire race. He wanted to stop this, he wanted to find a way, and in Legion he didn't make a significant presence because he himself knew that, oh, these guys are a huge issue, but maybe they'll be fine. They'll be fine on themselves. I'm done rooting for sides. That in the beginning he rooted for Garrosh Hellscream, but then he ended up rooting for the Alliance, and the Alliance didn't do what he wanted, so he got frustrated and, went off whining, of course. Wrathion, it's okay, dude. We got this, don't worry. So I think we're going to see him a lot more. He's going to deal with the corruption that his race had to deal with. I think there will be another artifact, that it will not be weapons this time. Maybe a cape? Maybe, no, they've already done cloak. They've already done ring. They've done weapons. They haven't done helmet. But they also haven't done a trinket yet. A trinket seems pretty logical, doesn't it? Maybe an on-use trinket. Something that they can balance a little more easier than weapons. It kind of ruins the meaningfulness of it, but maybe less is more. Maybe Blizzard will do this. You know what? Screw it. Artifact trinkets confirmed. The Twilight Empire, 8.0. In before, none of this is right, by the way. That this possible that all this is false. Anyway, I think that you could go down a mercenary path as well. Maybe that they're going to add this. They're going to add a mercenary path for PvPers who want to have a sense of progression in the story, and maybe that there will be storyline tied to only PvP. Maybe there will be PvP dailies. Maybe there will be a new world PvP zone. Maybe it'll be Gul'dan. I don't think so, but it's possible. It'd be really cool if something was at least done with Gul'dan because it is such a beautiful city. Now that all the Gul'dans are getting all this lore, it is time to finally update the Worgen and Goblin models. I think we're finally going to see them after 2 expansions of Blizzard just keeping their lips sealed about the issue. Maybe, that whole 3,000 thread forum, or 3,000 reply, I should say, forum on the Worgen models will finally cease to exist. It'll be about time. Casters will be getting their new animations as well. They'll be getting new looks. Maybe their weapons will be involved. Maybe Mage's teleport will look really cool. Who knows? I hope so. It'd be really cool to see all that. Anyways, I have been ranting on for far too long. These are just little snippets of what I think the story is going to be. I really want to know what you guys think about all this. So leave me a comment in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up. If you like the videos, please subscribe for more. I'm going to try and do a lot more with what I can. And until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.